Do you have fits of rage, yelling things like libtard, deep state, or constitution that you've never read? Do you quote Hitler or the Bible that you've also never read? Do you hate immigrants when your parents are actual immigrants? Then you may be suffering from TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. Side effects include following cult leaders blindly, taking women's rights, banning books and calling it freedom, or hating Joe Biden, then taking credit for things Joe Biden did. Ask your doctor about Trump Derangement Syndrome. TDS has been shown to flare up in red states and cause inflammation in Donald Trump merchandise. And JFK is not coming back from the dead.
I want to talk about, once again, our ace in the hole. A complete moron named Boris Epshteyn.
When he lost in 2020, he sent an army of oath keepers and werewolves to kill his own vice president.
I'm just proud of the toughest person I've ever met in my entire life for having the backbone and fortitude to go through this whole mess, as uncomfortable as it's been. And I'm proud to have stood there every single second by his side in that freezing cold courtroom. He's an inspiration to me every single day, and he'll be vindicated.
Now, I did this video last year, and basically no one saw it. Maybe y'all should check it out, because I called it.
The bottle blonde in Old Town Scottsdale in October of 2021. Police say they detained Epstein after a woman accused him of sexual assault. So take a look.
A female is alleging that you touched her inappropriately, okay? Okay, so just let us work through it and we'll get through it, okay?
So police say a woman reported she was sitting at a table with him when he grabbed her and her friend, started rubbing up on them. Officers told him to sit on the curb, as you see right there. He kept saying he had done nothing wrong. When an officer read Epstein his Miranda rights, he refused to speak anymore. Police arrested him for disorderly conduct. So he pleaded guilty to that charge, served probation. Charges of assault and attempted sexual abuse were dismissed. And this is not Epstein's first time in the news right here in Arizona. Federal investigators subpoenaed his communications records during the investigation into fake electors in the 2020 election. Back to you.
I know the downside of Trump, but let me tell you about the upside of Trump. I am for Trump, not because of the flaws of anybody else. I'm for Donald Trump because I know what I'm going to get.
You in jail for 5 years?
Lindsey Graham's like Forrest Gump if all he ever did was sit on that bench. My Mima always said, life is like a box of frozen shrimp. You left out in the sun. You know exactly what you're going to get, food poisoning.
ProPublica now reports that Boris Epshteyn has been doubled in his pay. He's not even doing as much work as he used to. He now has a different job, and yet his pay has doubled. And he's just about the only person who hasn't rolled on Trump yet.
I'm happy to share all of the information about the overwhelming amount of fraud that happened in the 2020 election in Arizona, in Wisconsin, and Georgia and Pennsylvania.
Boris Epshteyn, a key voice in Donald Trump's inner circle, falsely claiming the 2020 election was stolen.
Making America great again.
A Russian-born former investment banker who serves as one of Donald Trump's closest advisors and prominent in the push to get around the Electoral College with a pro-Trump slate of what prosecutors say were fraudulent electors.
The fool, he's a broken-down fool, standing out there, and he got maggot. He got maggot yesterday. He got a big dose of it.
So basically, Trump got away with one crime by committing other even worse crimes. It's a classic legal strategy. People don't know this, but the son of Sam only went on that killing spree so he wouldn't go to jail for shoplifting.
Everybody else in his orbit are convicted felons. But this guy, he's holding the line. Because he's an idiot.
Yes, I was part of the process to make sure there were alternate electors for when, as we hoped, the challenges to the seated electors would be heard and would be successful.
When Trump lawyers, led by Rudy Giuliani, called a press conference to claim massive election fraud, Epstein was there with them.
And Boris Epstein.
Ari, they might as well mark that tape you just played, Government's Exhibit 1, and send it to prosecutors in Arizona, because that's, in essence, Boris Epstein captured on video talking about the fake electors scheme that he's now charged in Arizona. And when that's added on to some of the other evidence that we've heard about that's publicly known, right? We don't know what prosecutors might have that we're unaware of. Emails trying to convince officials in Arizona that they should come on board for this plan to put in a fake slate of electors to try to tie up the certification of the Electoral College vote.
Seriously, who knew there was this giant loophole in the law where you could get away with one crime by committing an even worse crime?
To the rousing applause of Trump's supporters, Bannon concluded his speech with these words: victory or death. That's the way some of Trump's most fervent supporters see the election, as one that could only be lost if it's stolen from them, and as a battle that just cannot be lost.
I don't know that the public would stand it, you know. I'm not sure the public would stand for it. With a
tried house arrest or
I think it would be tough for the public to take. You know, at a certain point there's a breaking point.
But it's not just Boris. It's a bunch of people in Trump's orbit. People who are witnesses to crimes Trump is having his company and his campaign. That's right. Some of you out there yourselves have actually paid off his witnesses.
And he was in court when Donald Trump was indicted in New York. He has, however, been identified by CNN as unindicted co-conspirator Individual 3 in the Georgia indictment.
Does that tell us anything about Boris Epstein?
What it does tell us is that in the view of the prosecutor, the person they've labeled as co-conspirator was part of this crime, was in on it, and does have some potential criminal liability.
Are you worried about a parking fine? Are you under investigation for petty theft? Did you get caught shoplifting?
I'm proud of my father. I'm proud as hell of my father. My father's a great fighter.
My father fought his ass off.
My father's a man I consider a best friend.
Well, then call Myers and Myers right now. We'll help you stay out of jail by doing something way worse. Bank robbery, arson, even murder. We'll help you commit a much more heinous crime, so prosecutors will let you off on your smaller crimes.
One guy was put on the board of Truth Social because he's a witness to a crime. Now, I'm sure that it had nothing to do with the fact that literally that week he had been subpoenaed. And by the time he got down there to testify, like he was required to do, golly, that damn judicial system, he was already on the board of Truth Social. Wow.
We reached out to Epstein's attorney, Todd Blanche, who told us, "I don't have a comment."
My father built the skyline of New York City.
I've been by my father's side almost the entire time. I spent every minute of the last 48 hours, as I said, with my father. No one that knows my father as well as I do. I've got the toughest father in the world. My father did a phenomenal job.
Hell, I thought you had to be the chairman of the Judiciary Committee to be on the board of Truth Social. But that's what this whole thing is. Pay him off. Because the boss is going to go to jail.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
That makes Arizona's case look very solid. Really interesting that Boris Epstein is in court with Donald Trump in New York. Not quite sure what we can make of that. He wasn't there for jury selection, wasn't there for opening statements. He did show up the day after he was indicted in Arizona. Maybe it was planned in advance, but it's certainly worth following.
Yeah, because it again shows how many of these criminal plots.
My father built the greatest economy this country's ever seen. My father had peace in the Middle East. And I was really happy to see my father out there. My father didn't do a damn thing wrong. My father has been so cooperative. My father testifies. My father's been censored. They're going after my father in Georgia. They tried to get to my father. They tried to impeach my father. My father had a great relationship with Putin. My father got out of every war, stopped every war.
Let's pray for our country being stronger on the other side of this disgusting sham politician prosecution.
That's fun. I'm sure that was a pleasant plane ride back to Mar-a-Lago with whoever came up with that idea.
So ProPublica's done it again. I would expect nothing less. But I wonder what Republicans think. That ProPublica's lying? That they got it wrong? That Boris Epstein, the dumbest person on the planet, please watch my video, like and subscribe, actually earned double his pay.
My father was so far ahead. My father was very, very good. My father will do an unbelievable job. My father feels great. My father. 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 My fatar. My father. 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 My father.
Maybe he did. As far as that goes, maybe this video was a waste of your time. Clearly, he has earned double his pay. Not for so much what he did, but for what he's not doing. Or should I say not saying. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. We got these boys by the balls, and they know it. Y'all take it easy.
My father. 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 My father.
Let's see, $100 for electricity, 85 for cable, okay, 130,000. What's this for? Honey, do you know what the Oh, never mind, honey.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't negotiate, let's investigate. We'll accelerate as we're taking him down.